If I was given the task of convincing someone to buy The Forest, I'd be able to save time and money by summing up the game's greatest features in one word: atmosphere. If you threw a dart into your monitor while you were playing The Forest, it wouldn't even leave a mark, because it would burn up in all the atmosphere. The Forest manages to make adult me feel the same pit in my stomach I felt playing through Halo 3's Cortana mission as a preteen. And in both instances, the addition of a co-op partner all but eradicates any fear I feel and turns the gameplay into an excellent source of comedy.
Watch this.
Bro, there is no food.
When played solo, The Forest has you jumping at shadows, huddling in the corner of a cave, or desperately waiting for the progress bar to fill on your temporary shelter as you wait for the prompt to sleep through the night to fill up. The atmosphere that's built up from the second you leave the scattered remains of your ill-fated flight works away at your rational mind as you eat berries, smack the beaks off of birds, and gather sticks and stones until every bush becomes a person lurking just on the edge of your vision. The constant movement of the forest helps whatever shadowy figures your mind might conjure out of paranoia take shape, and the sound design reminds you every few seconds that the howling breeze sounds an awful lot like cannibals crying out in the night. I've always enjoyed horror games, especially the ones that build up a tense atmosphere. Back when I lived with my friends at school, at least once a semester you could find us huddled around a screen watching me play through Outlast, Resident Evil, or whatever other horror game piqued our collective interest. I usually played through a majority of the games, only having to hand the controller over to someone else when a section playing off my claustrophobia surfaced. When my friends were sitting around me laughing or screaming at what was on the screen, nothing got under my skin enough to truly scare me. A jump scare might have made me jump, but my buddies' constant jokes and banter kept me from really fearing anything I saw on screen. Playing through horror titles alone, especially in VR, is an entirely different story. A majority of my time spent playing The Forest has been with friends. Pancake mode, VR, neither medium scared me as long as I had someone else there to witness the creepy figure standing on the horizon. As long as there was someone there to share my fear, the game never really got under my skin. Even the cave systems were a jovial experience, punctuated by a friend getting RKO'd by a random pale cannibal or missing a prompt to climb a rope and plunging to their death. But running the caves alone, especially in VR,
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
When I try to start a normal playthrough of The Forest in VR, I usually get hard stuck on the starting gear. I might find a cooking pot on the coast or a flare in the severed cockpit of my ill-fated flight, but I never delve down into the caves to get the chainsaw, climbing axe, or any other beneficial goodies locked behind sleeping cannibals or Virginias. So, for a while, I let The Forest sit in my Steam library untouched, opting instead to play brighter, mutant-less VR titles. And then one day, I found a new, better use for The Forest's VR port. VR has been one of the few outlets that has kept my boredom at bay during this pandemic. Some people have spent their time honing a new skill, others have been striving to better themselves physically and mentally, and I've spent my newfound free time with a toaster strapped to my face, swinging my arms at virtual knights and shiny blocks. It wasn't until an epiphany, rivaling the greatest epiphanies of all time, struck me one fateful night that I found a new way to spend my time in virtual space. The Forest has taken Minecraft's place in my VR library as my relaxation station. Instead of shutting my brain off and building a giant square house out of wood and stone, I'm leveling swaths of forest and collecting rocks to build a square house out of wood and stone. That similarity aside, The Forest offers more in the way of relaxation than Minecraft VR ever did. With the simple click of a button, all of the horrors of The Forest vanish, replaced by a tranquil deserted island, my own personal paradise. The Forest's peaceful mode is a godsend for anyone looking to relive their favorite survival stories, like Hatchet or My Side of the Mountain, without ever actually putting themselves in real danger or starving or catching dysentery. You still scrounge for food and water, repurposing turtle shells to catch rain, roasting seagulls on the open flames of an impromptu fire pit, but none of the supernatural threats of the base game threaten to ruin your knockoff Swiss Family Robinson adventures. While nighttime in the base game is an obstacle to overcome, preferably through sleep, it takes on a whole new purpose in peaceful mode. The moonlight cascading through the leaves overhead as you make your way to your favorite fishing spot puts you at ease and gives you a taste of the life you might have enjoyed before someone to the east decided to have a bowl of tasty bat soup. Hell, even without this pandemic, the forest offers a look at nature that some people stuck in a bustling city might not have been able to see without a multi-hour long drive. Note, I am not advocating for replacing trips out into nature with placing a headset on your gourd. If you're able to go fishing, swimming, or hiking in real nature, do so. What I am saying is this: the forest's tranquil sunrises and bustling flora have provided me with a temporary escape from the droning boredom of life in this pandemic. And I'm glad I found a game that not only occupies, but completely fills the hole that Minecraft left in my heart when Microsoft decided to toss it aside like an illegitimate redheaded stepchild. Plenty of high-octane, pulse-pounding experiences can be found in VR. There are titles that help you break a sweat, games that try their hardest to break your neck, and experiences that dismantle your grasp on reality. The Forest offers something else, something that I personally think is just as valuable to VR players new and old. You could move to Alaska or purchase a few acres of land out in the Midwest to get a full survival experience building your own home out of felled trees and mud, or you could take a moment to put on your headset, load into your own virtual paradise, and let the atmosphere the developers carefully crafted wash over you. If you have good headphones, pop them on for a moment and dig this. Few things have relaxed me as much as this game has in VR. Thanks to a recent hardware upgrade, I've been able to crank up pretty much every setting I could find. The desktop window does not do the beauty of this game justice. Being able to stand in the midst of a forest crafted to push pancake gaming to its limits is something else. The Forest VR port is the kind of game that a younger NerdFuel could have only dreamed of. Back when I sat on a couch half a dozen feet away from my 24-inch plasma TV, I couldn't have been able to fathom the idea of strapping a VR headset to my face and instantly transporting myself into another world. And what would have impressed past me still blows my mind today. I'm happy to report that VR still hasn't lost any of its wonder. When I find an experience like the Forest, my awe for the platform grows, and my excitement for its future multiplies. I've enjoyed looking for different uses for existing VR titles, and the new purpose I've found for the Forest VR port might just be one of my favorite repurposes of a game to date. Plenty of VR games give you a power trip, but not enough of them ground you in the reality you might try to escape when you put your headset on. Obviously, gaming in general is a form of escapism, lending new worlds and new experiences that are so far unattainable to the player. But VR can be more than a jump from one reality to another. It can become a medium that helps us appreciate our current reality all the more. It's a testament to the excellent work provided by the developers over at Night Studios that a secondary game mode for their survival horror title nearly a decade in the making can be used now, with then inconceivable hardware, to draw the player into such a marvelously crafted world. Hell, even in peaceful playthroughs, I found myself reluctant to go into caves that normally house unthinkable genetic horrors and pale harbingers of death. The abandoned cannibal compound tells an entirely new story, one that leads to entirely different questions to be filled in by the player's imagination. You can either completely ignore the plane crash that preludes the rest of your playthrough, or you can treat it and the abandoned cannibal villages scattered across the island like monuments to a time long past. Whatever story, or lack thereof, you come up with to justify your stay on this beautiful island, I can confidently say that you'll enjoy every minute in your own personal virtual paradise. If you're enjoying these videos, consider stopping by my Discord server and saying hi. In time, I hope to build up a community of people ready and willing to share their experiences in games like The Forest, and hopefully uncover other hidden gems in this new virtual space I and many others have grown to love.